Hey everyone, it is Elsa932 on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me for the Later Daters. This has been a surprise show, so let me know if you do hear me. I haven't gone live in quite a bit. Give me a wave, give me a one, let me know that you do hear me, and we could certainly talk about this show. Thank you, Unfiltered Doll, for being here. And Juju D, thank you so much for joining me. I'm supposed to have a few panelists with me, folks who have watched the show and really engaged with the show. But just to let you know, the Later Daters is all about dating over 50. This show is on Netflix. It's executive produced by Michelle Obama. I did not know that till I watched the show, but it was great to see seniors dating. It was great to see seniors dating and no drama. Yes, we love drama on some dating shows, but it was wonderful to see people navigate dating without mess. Well, there's a little mess, just a little bit of mess, but it wasn't messy or degrading to anyone. I really, really enjoyed this show. So please, I hope you will like the video, share it with a friend, leave a comment below. I do have recaps for all of the episodes if you would like to watch that, if you have not caught up with it. So please, please. So I wish to start with the fact that we have a few seniors on this show. One of my favorite seniors was Anise. Anise, very well-educated young lady. She was one of my favorites because Anise is 63 years old. She was married, I believe, twice. Her first love, her high school sweetheart, passed away. They had kids together, and she was still able to fulfill her dreams that they had together. And she said she was able to raise her kids exactly how he wanted her to raise their kids. So Anise reminds me of my mother. Anise has got the fashion, the flair. She's got a wonderful personality. I really, really liked Anise. She was so open to the process, open to just enjoying meeting new people and just enjoying the time with her daughter as well. There was so many eye-opening things with Anise and her daughter that their relationship really took off. They learned a lot about each other, and I was like, oh, I needed to see a little bit more of that. But Anise had a date. Her first date was with Greg. Greg says he lives in Tennessee, but he sleeps around in Atlanta. And Greg is a senior like her. I don't know. I don't know what Greg was thinking. I don't know what he was thinking. Speaking to her like that, talking about that. I was like, dude, do you not read the room? Do you not get what is going on right here? You are dating a lady, and I'm like, how have you navigated dating in this world? I just don't understand. I was like, has he ever dated and understood like what is being said to him? Has he like, did these lines work with anyone? I was really flabbergasted for Anise. I was really flabbergasted for her. But Anise says she was single for almost 20 years. And she just couldn't get to a second or third date with most people. She ends it early. And I'm like, I'm wondering with Anise, why does she not get to second and third dates with folks? Why is she not getting to over the hurdle? Because what I'm thinking with Anise is that, as she said, she's had to minimize herself. She has had to go out. She has a PhD. Of course, she has her master's PhD. She is very well decorated and educated. And she said she's had to minimize herself with men. It has intimidated them when she has all those letters after her name. So I'm wondering if that's why she won't go on a second or third date with some of these gentlemen, is because it is tiring to minimize yourself. I'm sorry she's had to do that, and I understand her doing that to some degree, but I have gotten to a point at my age, which is way younger than Anissa. I could be Anissa's daughter, that I don't minimize myself for anyone. I don't minimize myself. Either you accept me as I am, or you could just leave me where you found me. How about that? How about that? But Anise says she had to minimize herself to get, through second or third dates. So I'm wondering what is going on with that. Also, let me go to my trusted notes. She said that her kids kept her going after her spouse passed away. Now, I do understand that many of the folks here have experienced loss. Everyone, I think, most have experienced a divorce, but many of them have lost their spouse. And for me, it was very, how can I say it? I could see that my grandmother also lost a spouse through passing away. So I'm like, her getting just back up and doing everything and living for her children, I could understand them being the reason why Anise kind of was up and able to just get through life. I cannot imagine losing a spouse that way and just entering the dating world again. So I totally put my hats off for Anise. She was my joy and light through this entire experience. Anise is my favorite character in this. My next favorite, this is in no particular order because I like everyone in their own way. I can see some shortcomings in them, but my next favorite, because she's kind of like my attitude around my friends, my next favorite was Suzanne. Suzanne here, 63, she was married for 27 years till he passed away 5 years ago. Her daughter is helping her through this process, just like Anise's daughter was helping her. She had a long list of wants. Suzanne had a long laundry list of wants. She said she wants Matthew McConaughey. And I was like, Suzanne, can we get a man that's age appropriate? Can we get Sean Connery? Can we get Sean Connery on the list, please, for Suzanne? Because she kept saying Matthew McConaughey every other minute. And I'm like, Matthew McConaughey has a wife, Suzanne. He is not up for grabs. I'm sorry, Suzanne. But Suzanne has a wonderful, bright personality. She was, I believe she said she was an orthodontist for years. But she just had a long list of wants. But if you were Matthew McConaughey, you would totally be, up her alley. Totally up her alley. So, yes, Unfiltered Doll, Anise and her daughter do remind me of the Braxtons. They do remind me of the Braxtons. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. I just spoke about Anise. I am talking about Suzanne and her journey and putting up the photos for if you kind of missed what everybody looked like during the show, if you just can't remember. And it's to keep me on point. Next up, Nate. Nate is 56. He was married 16 years ago and divorced and has 2 daughters. He said his fantasy woman, and that's immediately when I looked at Nate. Fantasy woman, Nate, I'm sorry. Nate, we can't do fantasy woman. This is reality. And when you do fantasy woman, that means someone has to try and live up to what you want. Okay? Come on, I need you to wake up. You are grown, Nate. You are 56. There's no fantasy woman. There's a reality woman. And in reality, I don't know if you know what you want and if you're even going to get it. So his ex-girlfriend is helping him through this process. Okay? His ex-girlfriend, I don't know about anybody I'm with you, Jay Blake. Nate and his ex can ride off into the sunset together. Nate, the ex-girlfriend, is, I believe she's blocking your blessings. I know y'all are real close. Y'all are real, okay with each other. This is the mother of your first child, but she is coming over and helping you, even, and we will get there, even when she tried to dress him for a date, she was downsizing him, because Nate had a great fashion sense. Nate was on point with dressing for his dates. But oh my gosh, when the ex tried to dress him, it wasn't hitting. It wasn't hitting. So he has he says OCD. Nate doesn't want anything out of place, not in his refrigerator, not anywhere in the house. He has everything in order. And when Nate said, hey, when I get with a woman, we would have to find a whole new place because this place is exactly how I like it. Yeah, Nate, I was looking at you sideways, totally looking at you sideways. So when we began the show, as I said, we only saw Nate, Anise, and Suzanne. Those were our top three, or the only three we got to see. So I was giving us time to wait for my other guests. We shall see if they pop in. So we will take a deeper dive into each of these people. And I'm going to go right back to, let's go backwards since we're talking about Nate. Nate had a few dates. Nate did have a date with Anise. I thought that was a mismatch. I'm sorry. I thought Nate and Anise had a date, and I thought that was a complete mismatch. Absolute mismatch. Let's just say Nate was very nice. He was polite. Anise didn't feel she had to minimize herself, but Nate's age caught Anise off guard. He is 56. And remember, Anise is 62. And he's a homebody, and Anise is like, yo, honey, I'm out. I go out. So I appreciated them mixing it up and putting two people in the show together to go out on a date. I may have preferred to see Nate, well, I guess with Lori, but that may have been a little wild for Nate. But I did appreciate Nate and Anise meeting each other, and I would have liked to have heard them exchange what the coach was saying. I also would probably like to see all of the seniors probably get together in a mixer so they could kind of know who's in the process with them and get to talk and know about each other a little bit more. That's what I would have liked to have seen, because you may have picked up on folks wanting to date each other if you had a mixer. Yes, Unfiltered Doll, I think Nate does seem insecure about his disability. I don't know if it's because women in the past have said something about his disability, or the fact that he may not become as physical, but Nate certainly had women who were willing to go at his pace. I agree with Jay Blake here. Nate needs to live alone, and his woman can stay at her own place. That's the only way it will work. I agree. I totally agree. Nate wants things in a particular way, in a particular order, and if you move anything, he will move it back. So I think Nate and his significant other need to just live apart and just come together when companionship is needed. So we can move along from Nate, his ex. Oh, I could go on and on about Nate and the dynamic with the ex, but I will leave that alone. Another senior we learned about was Pam. We got to know Pam in later episode. And Pam is being guided through this by her granddaughter. Pam is 70. She was married twice. She's been single for 15 years. And she just retired being a flight attendant. She met her husband when he was a singer in a band when she was younger. She lives in rural Georgia. She said so rural that pizza can't be delivered. Pam is, I like Pam. Pam says what's on her mind. Pam just lets it, go. Yes, Miss Unfiltered Doll, you are allowed to cuss. I won't be doing it, but you are certainly allowed to act up in the chat. Because you know what, Unfiltered Doll? I act up in your chat. So it's only fitting that you get to act up in my chat. Okay? So let's get back to Pam. Yes, Pam is a riot. She says whatever is on her mind. Pam is just let it. It is too late for me to be anything other than the person I am. So Pam had a date and she did not ask that man a single question. Pam just went on and on and on talking about herself. And I'm like, Pam, you don't like this man. His name was Robert. And Robert told the camera, yeah, she don't like me. She don't like me at all. And it's okay. So I'm like, why did you even stay for the length of the date, Robert? But Robert told her to her face. And Pam didn't like that. He said, now you're interested in asking me a question? It's only been like the whole date. You haven't asked anything. And Pam was kind of put off a little bit, it seemed. And it seemed like Pam does say she was nervous. She was nervous, so she just kept on rattling on the date. Now, I could understand that, but some point, Pam, you got to take a breath. You got to sip a drink, something, because Robert wasn't having it. And Robert's like, I got to go. And Robert left. Now, I agree with Jay Blake here. Pam should not be drinking on her first dates. Pam should not have any drinks on her first date at all. Hey, another round. How you doing? So Pam navigated through this. She had a second date with a musician. I thought that was a better fit. Her first husband was a musician. I was like, oh, okay, let's do this. So Pam, though, was making jokes with him, and she got really, really comfortable really too quickly. And she said, hey, if I come to your show, I'll be the one booing in the background. He doesn't know you yet, Pam. And to tell a musician you'll boo in the background is not very nice to them and their talent. So Pam's last date was with a gentleman named Dwight. Dwight runs the tours in Atlanta, and Pam turned a date into a job interview. Pam said, you know what, forget dating. I want to work for you. I want to meet the people, talk to the people, and work for you. And they ended the entire season with Pam at the end working for him, doing the tours for Senior Ladies Night. Now, the only question I had with Dwight, and Dwight seemed like a very nice gentleman, and I like all the subtle touches that Dwight brought her flowers in a vase. I love the simple touch of I don't have to go looking for a vase. The flower, yes, the bouquet was kind of thin, but hey, the thought was put it in a vase, and the vase was available. Yes, the flowers was thin, but maybe he could do more frequency with the flowers. I don't know. But Dwight and those tours and constantly meeting women, you're going to have to be real secure in that relationship. Real secure. Next up in the discussion after Pam, we did meet Lori. Okay. Lori was introduced to us later on as well. Lori was introduced. She is 57. She has 2 kids. She was married 11 years and divorced. She's been single for 15 years. She works as student engagement in the schools, and she's also a celebrity correspondent. And she hates those good morning, beautiful text messages in the morning. Lori said, that sounds like a mass text. I need you to say my name, say something that is specific to me. Lori was like, she hates that good morning, beautiful. Grand rising, beautiful. She cannot stand it. Lori was guided through this by her 2 children, her son and her daughter. So Lori turned her date into like real rapid fire interview questions. Her first date was with Ty. Lori said, and I'm over 40, but I didn't know this was a thing. Ty was wearing a regular blue suit, blue shirt, black jacket, but he had his white t-shirt collar showing. She said white t-shirts under the suit. Don't like it. Can't have it. Can't have it. And I was like, you're a little too harsh. You a little too harsh on Ty. Just a little bit. So tell me when you're ready, Trey. I have a guest. Hey Trey.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, L. What's going on?
We're talking about Lori and Ty.
Miss Lori. Miss, I'm going to get in my own way no matter what.
Ooh. Jay Blake said Lori is stuck in her ways, stubborn.
What you saying about her?
Just exactly what Jay Blake is saying. Lori is stuck in her ways, stubborn, and she didn't take any advice from Logan.
That's true. It's very true. She, even her own kids. Oh, first, hey everybody, how's everybody doing? Even her own children was like, yeah, our mom is gonna be a lot to deal with because it seems like she's a lot for them. Just a lot. Whew. But it's funny. I think Lori has a nice personality. I could tell she's kind of fun to be around, but she's so go 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 go. She can't slow down and just take a breather, like slow down.
And they did that with her with an exercise. What Logan, the dating coach, did. Logan said, put a timer on for 5 minutes for Lori to just say nothing. They were at dinner. Lori was gathering everything for the dinner table. And she said, put the timer on for 5 minutes. And Lori interrupted twice. Twice. And the kids said that they have had to find their voice, the way I gathered it, away from home because they couldn't find their voice at home. Is that what you got to, Trey?
It is. It seems like once she divorced their father, I guess, whenever that happened, she focused all of her energy onto her kids' life to a certain extent. Even there was some instances where it seemed like when she was talking to her son, there was certain instances where it seemed like she was trying to, that trope, make her the man of the house, her boyfriend, something like that, the way she was talking to him. And he was embarrassed. He was like, nah. And then her daughter she treats her as a daughter, then try to treat her as a best friend as well until her daughter pipes up, and then she kind of smacks her down as a mother to a certain extent. I'm like,
I do agree with you. I wonder if Lori, after the divorce, got really busy as to not dwell on things. I wondered that about her a while because I'm like, she says she sits in her car for about an hour to decompress. Now, I will give you this, Lori. Yeah. Atlanta traffic, I understand the decompression in the garage. I do it too. As soon as I come home, everybody knows the first 5 minutes, but I take 5 minutes in the garage to decompress. But she takes an hour. I'm wondering, when else does Lori get like quiet time?
None. Where she kind of hinted at her ADHD, she can't even quiet her own mind. She's literally go, go, go in her head. Go, go, go everywhere. She has to be doing something. She's that type of person. She has to be doing something. She has to be the center of attention in some way, shape, or form. She can't literally sit down. And then when she forces herself to sit down, it almost seems like a crash out. She's crashing. Like when she says she sits in her car for an hour. That's a long time to decompress.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
especially at
It
your
is
own house,
right.
you know. And did the kids live with her? It seemed like they were in and out because they both went to college.
It
But
seems
it seemed
like
like,
yeah, it seems like they're in and out. Like the daughter is part of her stylist team, but the son seems like he's off campus and in and out. He may be going to school in Atlanta. I'm not sure. But
yeah,
she did ask, really, um, would you date me? And the son, I was curious to his answer. I need Netflix to put that uncut because the young man needs to speak up. But they did speak up when Logan was around, the dating coach.
yeah, because they know they couldn't get a word in otherwise. That was the most they spoke when the dating coach was around. The most. And the most poignant, if you notice, whenever they did a confessional, that's when we heard the son the most. He sounded actually a lot more intelligent than he comes off. He comes off very quiet and just, but when he was with his sister and they was asking him questions, he was pointing, hey, yeah, my mom is this. She actually got this issue here. What she need to focus on is this. I'm like, yeah, he has a lot to say, but he can't say it.
Well, Lori also had a crush on a gentleman that is working the celebrity scenes as well. I believe his name was Fenton.
Mm, yep,
She said he
Mr.
knows how
Fenton.
to style the white T-shirt, unlike Ty. So I'm like, it ain't a white T-shirt. It was Ty. It ain't a white
I
T-shirt.
was, yeah, yeah, it was just tired. So she's very picky. Well, a lot of people on this show was, no matter the age, you still become very picky even later in life. It happens. That's just something all
Right.
humanity has to get past at times. But yeah, it was just interesting. I was like, wait, the dude with the green jacket, you trying to tell me he's stylish? Hold on, man. Wait a minute. This loud ass jacket. Whoa. But hey, he made it
I
work.
just
He was matching.
I just thought Fenton was more. His schedule was busier than hers. She was talking about, her evenings are the
Mm-hmm.
celebrity red carpets and stuff. Fenton is flying. Felton is going out doing photo shoots. So I'm like, how is this going to work with your schedule? Because she was having a birthday party. She invited Fenton, and he said, "Hey, I'm not in town. I'm out of town on work, on business." So I'm like, how is this going to work? Because it's like, hey, the same thing she was talking about. She wanted someone there to be with her, but Fenton ain't around.
She comes off as I think she thinks she wants someone just like her. So they can have like similar interests and whatnot. But sometimes that doesn't, well, she said it herself in a later episode, sometimes opposites attract. So it's not like she's not self-aware of herself. It seems like she just can't get out of her own way. And Felton, as soon as she described him and described the situation, I knew she was in the friend zone. Like, and she knew she was in the friend zone. I was like, baby, Miss Lori, come on. You know he don't see you like that.
So
God's honest
now
truth. Go
now
ahead.
Trey, the lady in the friend zone, Miss Lori, asked Fenton, "So what's up?" That irked me. That irked me. I don't like, and I'm hoping it's editing. I'm hoping they, did her wrong in this.
Why
This,
did that
hey,
irk
what's
you?
up? Because for me, it's vague. What's up with what? My chicken's good. My dinner's great. What's up with what?
Well, I think in that moment we got an actual view of how she actually talks to other men. She literally comes off. We've been using this word last few weeks. Comes off as a homie. She's the cool aunt. She's trying to be hip. She's quote unquote shooting shit with you. Hey, what's up? Like, Like, I'm not thinking you really into me like that, And if you look at Filton, even when they finally had that discussion, they talked about it. She said, "What's up?" Filton looked at her like, "Nah, no, I did never seen you like no." And the way he was being nice about it, but the way he was coming off, you know why? Like, you're not my speed. I'm sorry. You one of the homeboys. She's a little aggressive.
Well,
She's
her
a
son said
softer aggressor.
she's quite dominant.
Yes, very domineering, and you've seen that she's very domineering in conversations. Don't let nobody else talk. She's very judgmental. Being
Well,
nice.
the her other date was Marvin. Marvin goes to her church. Now, the interesting part of Lori, everyone, is that her first date, Ty, she said, "I know your face from somewhere," and they figure out that they linked up on Plenty of Fish, but somehow they stopped talking back in 2017. Lori said she's gonna figure out why, but I'm like, why? You're not gonna go on another date with this man. Just let
Exactly.
him go, let him be. Then she had a candle date making candles with Marvin, and she didn't. She says, "Do we know each other?" She could not pick up that she recognized him, but he was the first one to say, "Hey, I know you from church. We go to the
Mm-hmm.
same church." Marvin is now he is studying or on his way to being a deacon at the church, and he is taking care of his mother now. Now, I bring that up, taking care of his mother, because some of these seniors dating said they want empty nesters. They want folks who don't have their kids at home and have no other responsibilities. But
Mm-hmm.
as we see with these, some people do have responsibilities. So now with Marvin, I would have been more concerned with what does taking care of your mom entail at this
Yeah.
stage of your life, rather than he doesn't hang well with me at these parties. Because Marvin took the invitation, he came, he brought a gift, thoughtful gift, and wanted a moment with you, and she didn't allow it. What are your thoughts?
Marvin is the low key guy. He's, laid back. He ain't trying to be out front like that. I don't think he doesn't mind being out front, but he's just, yeah, he's just out. I'll play the bat. I will come and support. He knows how to conduct himself. I think he was genuinely interested in her. In actuality, he was genuinely interested in her. Because he knew who she was. Like, yeah, I seen you at church, so he probably was checking her out since church. You know, he knows he got a better sense of who she was in her nightlife and her, and her parties and this, that, and third. You could tell he was a little out of place at times, but the only reason, at first, I thought, well, maybe he's just an out of place dude. This is not his scene, which is not. But then again, it's also the way she was treating him as well that made him feel out of place. Because when he first came in, he was fat right on there and came in looking kind of dapper, shades on, like, hey, come in, little flowers. He was smooth coming in, great, great entrance. Then she played him to the side because he was actually trying to engage and talk to her.
He was. He just wanted a moment, and that happens a lot with and I've seen it with, if you have a significant other and you have a birthday parties in full swing, they may want a moment with you. And granted, he is not her significant other, but he just wanted a moment away from, all of the bells and whistles, and just, to wish happy birthday, say she looked beautiful this evening or something. And then he departed. Marvin didn't feel odd until she kind of was like, yeah, 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 okay. She kind of dismissed him. And yes, he can be dismissed. I understand. You don't have to entertain him. But it was the way it was done for me that was kind of like odd. And
Yeah,
I agree with Jay Blake that he is the type of guy that she may need. He'll come to the party looking fly, dapper. He'll need a moment. Let me say, hey, 5 minutes. Her man was here. And he goes home and she continues to enjoy herself.
see, I don't think she realizes how much how much she needs the center of attention,
Mm.
because if she would have gotten with a guy like Felton, he would take some of that attention from her.
Felton
And
was the attention.
exactly, because she pulled he pulled her attention,
Yeah.
and he ain't hard to see. Green Jacket come in, listen, you see him, you see him, cat daddy, your new age cat daddy. That's what he was giving. Can't let it go. I was like, oh my god, but yeah, Marvin's type of guy. He's gonna play the back and let you stand out on stage out front. He's cool, as long as we
So
get to deal with each other afterwards.
right, and I did do some recaps on some others before you came on,
Yeah.
so I am going to I guess go back to some of them so you can have a say in it, but
Yes,
also go forward. We did have another later dater that came in way late in the process, way late. We had Greg. Greg showed up real late. I believe Greg showed up in episode 4 or 5, and I was like,
right.
why y'all bringing Greg in so late, and he barely has time to date anyone?
I can understand why. At first, I had the same question, but I kind of understood why.
Okay, let me give Greg stats. Greg is 61, divorced twice. He's been single for 12 years. He has 2 sons, and he said that online dating frustrates the heck out of him.
Yeah, I think to my previous statement, first I like to say I think Greg is a pretty decent guy. He's a good man at heart. I think he's just a good man. But you could tell he may be a little difficult to deal with or difficult to date. He's going to be difficult to date because and this word's going to come out a lot. He can be extremely judgmental and dismissive quickly without actually thinking about it. And then he thinks on it like, you know what? I did too much. He's self-aware, at least I give him that. He's like, man, I looked at that and I think I did wrong. Let me try and fix it. At least he tries to fix his mistakes. That's why I say I think he's a good man at heart. But yeah, go ahead.
You show up because for me, Greg went on a date, everyone, with Kelly. They went water skiing. Kelly is 59. Remember, Greg is 61. Now they're both physically active, but if you've never done a sport, like
Not
especially
like
water skiing, something's gonna hurt afterwards that you ain't never worked out before.
He said it's been 20, 30 years since he water skied. Now I knew there was going to be a travesty. I was like, bruh, you. And she said, I do this all the time. I was like, oh, this is going to be bad.
Well, her families do water skiing tournaments. So not only does she do this all the time, they are professionals.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it wasn't a commute to Atlanta. It was she gonna have me hurting every weekend doing this.
Possibly.
That's what I thought.
Possibly.
But
I mean, there's another side that could be. Yeah, that could be right. Go ahead. Oh, I was gonna say, I think another side. The reason why he was so easily dismissive was that, and it didn't bring it up. They showcased it, but he didn't talk about it. I think he is still thinking about his responsibilities at home. He has a paralytic son, and he has to someone has to be comfortable with that situation that he brings in. And yes, having potential, that's not really long distance, but it's an effort of commute. Well, she lived on the other side of the city. Like, bro.
She lived in Atlanta. She lived an hour away. For him, that's forever. When you can go to the corner store, go to the grocery store in less than 5 minutes, an hour drive is forever.
Yeah. for him, and I get it. For me, it's not. I'm different, so I see that a little bit differently. But for him, I can kind of understand that. That's a lot of time and effort you have to put in going back and forth if y'all want to continue to see each other. He
And a
has,
lot of hurt. A lot of hurt
yes,
because after the date, we're gonna have a water sports, and after I'm hurting, I gotta drive an hour back to get home to get
you
the
need an
icy
ice
hot.
pack.
I'm just saying.
You need the ice pack, portable ice packs coming on deck. Like, man, I gotta ice my knees down. Like, ooh,
Right. She was. I liked her. I liked her, but
she
what
was
I wanted
nice.
to point out with that date with Kelly, Kelly was married for 26 years, then divorced. I'm seeing a lot of folks that is 20, 30 years and then divorce. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing? Are we waiting
Mm-hmm.
until the kids are grown and then leaving? I mean, what are they
Basically,
doing?
basically, that's what's
Whew.
happening. It's still a product of, and like there's pros. When I say this, don't everybody take this the wrong way. There's pros and cons to everything. This is just a product of the last 40 years of change, especially in our Western culture, of how we view things, how men and women deal with each other, how women have come to the forefront in business and working and that is a lot of change, and we seeing some of the effects of it. It is what it is. Like, people don't
It
stay together
is.
no more. It's just
Well, they can be grandparents from afar. And speaking about grandparents from afar, and I did speak about him before, Nate,
Big Nate.
Big Nate. I guess you want to call him Big Nate. So
Listen, I like Nate. I see some of myself in Nate, but Nate need to relax. Nate needs to relax. Like, just some, uh, he really put his own foot in his mouth on that last date. And the sad part is, I kind of understand why, because I'm somewhat the same way. I like my house clean and neat and in order. And this was before I even joined the military myself. I've always been that way. I got that from my mom, actually. Just clean it up, keep it neat. If you clean it up now, you ain't gotta if you keep it clean, you ain't gotta clean later on. Just that mindset.
there's
So when she
Queen and
said,
Nate, and there's Nate.
that's true, I think that's why I said I think he need to relax. He went overboard with it. Just, I'm like, bro, relax, bro. This is not that serious. Okay. Because he went on a whole tirade. Oh, you live. I mean, we can't leave them dresses on the bed. Oh, like, bro, if y'all get dressed going out, y'all can come back and clean it up. It's not that serious. Not that serious. But
So
Jesus.
so I do want to ask you, I'm glad there's a gentleman on the panel. So Nate said, based on his experience, he doesn't trust any woman fully except for his grandmother.
Oof.
The first mother of his kids was told him she was on birth control, and the daughter was a result. His second, his ex fiance, did cheat on him and was with child by another man. Now, considering that Nate has his ex as his guide through this process, what are your thoughts as a gentleman about the ex being, because I think she blocking, but that's just my thought.
Honestly, I don't think she was blocking, actually, because she never said anything disparaging about any woman. At least what we saw, we never saw her say anything disparaging about any woman that he brought up. Half of the time, she was looking at him like, okay, so what's the problem? What's the problem with her then? Why you ain't gonna see her again? Well, what's the problem with this one? You gonna see her again? Okay, that's good. Now, it is it's one of those situations. I know it can't exist, but it does leave you with a lot of questions. Y'all have a child together. Y'all used to date way back in the day. but now she's like your best friend. I'm not. It can happen. I've seen it happen, but y'all closeness is just interesting because anybody else that would see it would think that y'all are already together. Like,
Now, Trey, it's how she says, well, what's wrong with that one? It's how she says it that I perk up. And the fact that Nate was impeccable in his dress the
yeah, he just
entire time. Yet the
yeah,
one
yeah,
time he asked for her input, she is dressing him down.
yeah. Come on, the
See?
poolside.
I said, don't listen to her, Nate, telling her he could wear that zip up thing on his date. Don't listen to her.
You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought he should have. I didn't like what he. I thought he was overdressed for that particular wear where he was going. I did think he was a little overdressed.
But he dressed down for the pool date and his date dressed up.
Yeah, I think that could have been a calcul. That date would have been perfect for that zip up shirt he was wearing. I do think he was a little too dressed down, but I understood you poolside. You know, be a little more relaxed. I wouldn't have come in with a suit myself going to a poolside date. Like,
And we need to know, how often is she coming over? What are the rules of engagement of her coming over?
she's over
Because
there.
I understand with the show.
She's over there. The way they were talking, listen, I think he was dead. They were both dead serious. She is his best friend. They have gotten to the point that that is their relationship. I don't think anything extra is really going on at all, actually. But they're so close and they know each other so well that it's going to look funny. I mean, what proved it to me is when the daughter came by. When the daughter, we finally met his daughter and their daughter. Like, from her reaction, yes, her and her dad are just friends. They're just good friends. Ain't nothing really going on, really. But they're just close friends.
I'm with Jay Blake. I need to know where she was, what she was doing with it, within his marriage, and did she pop up back years later as his best friend? Now, I agree with you, Trey. There could be nothing going on, and they could be completely just best friends. But as a woman or a significant other coming in, even if she had someone of interest, you're always going over there.
Yeah, you
There
gotta find
has
out
to
what's
be
up.
some kind of, yeah, it has to be some separation there, or else people will wonder, even if it's not romantic, you're not available for a romantic relationship because you're hanging with your friend.
I'm thinking and I'm hoping because I have a female best friend and we're just friends. We know each other going on 15 years now, you know. But whenever I have some woman advice or whatever, I would go holler at her, hey, what you think about this? But it's always been the thing. Like, we used to hang over each other's houses all the time, but we were single. Like, if she got a man, I'm not over there like that. Cause that sets a bad precedent. She talking to somebody at some point in time, I know I'm gonna meet him. You know, hey, let me get your opinion on this guy. All right, cool. You know, but if I know she's in a relationship, I'm not over at her house all the time. No, we ain't doing that. That's a bad precedent, and vice
But
versa.
that's the question, Trey. What's all the time?
Uh, You know, all the time is when you have a friend. If put like this, the only reason why this is a question is because it's a male and a female. If that was his homeboy, and he's just,
Same,
it'd
same,
be the same
same with the
question.
homeboy.
He can't be
Same,
over there at the
same.
time. But what I mean is,
I
they pop up when your homeboy is single. At most times, we can be at each other's house almost every other day to every day. Ain't nobody gonna question it. We just hanging out, this and that third. Once my homeboy is in a relationship, at least this is what I do. What I think is proper. I'm not over there like that. You know, because I know he has a woman. She's gonna be up over there. I gotta respect their relationship. I think somebody just asked me a question.
Yes, Trey, would you want your woman having a bestie hanging around?
I got to see how it looks like. How many times if she's coming over 4 or 5 times out of the week? Okay, if we live together, me and my girl and her best friend, male or female, don't really matter, is trying to show up at the house 4 or 5 times out of the week, I'm gonna ask some questions like, what's going on here? Don't he and she got her own life to live? Why are they over here all the time? I need these questions answered. Why are they here? Why are they here when I'm coming home? I'm trying to come see you. Hey, baby, how's your day? And y'all sitting here cackling and everything. Wait a minute. Y'all can go out on the weekends. Girls not out.
You're gonna be in the car. That's when you're gonna be in the car like Lori decompressing for an hour.
Decompress. If I pull up and I see her car again in the driveway, listen, I might turn around and go out and go get me a soda pop, a cream soda or something. You know, I come back. I ain't got time to deal with this. You know, like, nah, I'll deal with you after.
Well, she did say she is there for that barbecue recipe of his.
Mm-hmm. They're close. They are close.
Yes. I just hope there are boundaries where things, and I'm thinking they do have, because Nate did get married. You know, I see that, they do have.
She was around.
She was probably around. She was probably there, an invited guest to the wedding. And yes, I have seen that. My uncles, my uncles' ex-wives are their good friends, and they are guests at the next wedding. So I totally see that, but I understand boundaries. And it's like, if you are dating, you have to kind of, pull back a bit.
I do question the boundaries. I do question it. Because whenever they're talking in their confessionals and they're on the couch together, they're sitting like they're together. Like it's a little like, that's why the interviewer asked the question, hey, let's talk about the elephant in the room. What's going on with this? What is this? And they didn't really answer that sufficiently. This is like, what's going on with this? Didn't. Like, I'm like, all right.
And we agreed to go to Africa. The others chose their children to advise them. Nate chose her, and I wonder if it's just because she's in the same city. She's in Atlanta.
Probably. And honestly, I think he does trust her opinion. It's got their relationship has gotten to that point. I think he trusts her opinion.
Possibly. Was she talking about the ex-fiance telling him and he didn't listen?
She might have did. That's probably honestly, she probably was the first one to say, hey, I don't know about that one. And it came to pass.
Yeah, I did see those legs too, Unfiltered Doll. That's why the body reactions we were seeing, it was saying, I'm open.
Mm-hmm.
And as Trey said, they did not sufficiently answer, why ain't y'all together?
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? They gave partial of the answer, but it's just not a good one when they explain what happened between them when they was younger. Like, her name Jacqueline, right? Is it Jacqueline?
I can't remember.
I think it's Jacqueline. If you pay attention to how they were saying it, she told you straight up, he was just supposed to be a booty call. It was hookup in her mind, straight up and down. And they was hooking up for some weeks, and just so happened got pregnant. So they had to figure some things out. But they never actually stayed together. But they decided to co-parent together. So in her mind, yeah, she got what it was just a hookup. She really probably didn't want anything serious, but she liked it enough. Hey, you know what it is. It was what it was. But they, as far as co-parenting, obviously they have worked it out. They're grandparents by this time, grandkids come over, Dollar came over. It was, yeah. Have their barbecue as a little family.
I said what I said. Says my ex lived with 2 women as roommates, and I was extremely jealous and didn't like it. But I was in my early 20s. I can handle something like that now. You are a better woman than me. I'm not sure I can handle that now. Way better than me. I'm not sure. But wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to see the dynamic though. I'm gonna have to see the dynamic.
I've had
she coming over.
Ooh, I've had.
Is she talking about you, Trey?
No, not
Is it
me.
you she talking about?
Nah, it ain't me. But I've been in that situation. It was always a challenge bringing somebody over, and I had to show them, nah, we just roommates. You know, it was a good deal. I'm in college. It's a good deal. Yeah. I couldn't pass it up.
Of course, it's a good deal.
I meant the rent. Okay. I meant the rent.
Okay,
I
okay.
couldn't
You
say
you
no.
paying?
Rent.
You paying?
And they were nice ladies. I trusted them. I was like, you know what? Nah, I got you. And and the key was they trusted me because they knew me. It's like, hey,
Okay. And the key was their boyfriends trusted you as well.
some of them had to, yeah. Because at the
Oh,
time
they
they were
had to.
single.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
it's one of those. It's like the relationship with my best friend. Listen, we've been friends, like I said, 15 years now. She's a part of my life. She's over there. She ain't at my house all the time. You know, there's distance, there's boundaries there, but she is there. You know, and in a lot of cases, there've been times you meet a young lady, yeah, she's gonna be there after you too, and so am I. It's just a fact of the matter, especially when you have prior relationships, and that's what any relationship you get into with anybody, they're gonna have prior relationships, and some of
So
those relationships you may have to accept.
to go to Africa says Jackie's not worried about Nate doing much because his
Jackie,
injuries have probably affected his ability to do many things.
true.
We'll leave that on pause right there because
Hmm.
I don't know. There's all types of ways to the promised land to go to Africa. There are all different
Well,
ways to get there. So whether nature can provide or not, there are ways to get there.
no, I think everything still works. It's just, he got to be a little careful. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Don't pull a muscle or get a loose screw.
yeah, this he moved that back the wrong way. Like you said, I dipped one time and this I ain't getting up.
If I dip
It
it
was,
low, it may stay low.
yeah, that was funny. It was funny to me. Nate was
He
actually
was.
funny to me. You
He
know,
was. He
and I
was.
understood his story. Like, yo, like, he seems like a decent man, trying to be decent. You know what it is? I want to say this earlier. You know what it is about Nate? Nate was the nice guy who had to turn a little hard later in life and be more strict about what he wants.
Yes.
Especially when he told that story about his ex-wife. Cheated on him, got pregnant with another man. That's going to harden you to a certain extent. That's going to harden you. That's what I sense from him. Like, he's settled in his life now. Yes, he does want everything dressed right, dress. He doesn't want no chaos anymore in his life. He wants somebody, but like most men want peace. We just do. Because there's enough chaos going around in your everyday life anyway. You just want something peaceful to come home to. You know.
And speaking of those that are dropping it low, and this next person, I talked about her earlier, Suzanne.
Yes, I was hoping you were gonna say Suzanne.
Suzanne dated some of these men who were, how can I say it? They they had teenage kids. Okay.
Yeah.
Suzanne is
Yes.
63. She was married for 27 years till he passed away 5 years ago. Both two men she dated had a 16 and a 14-year-old. And Suzanne is like, you looking for them young girls. And it ain't me. I'm an empty nester. Suzanne has got her life together. She knows what she wants to do. And she said, one of a favorite line that I hadn't heard in forever. She doesn't want to be a nurse or a purse.
Suzanne, her quotes was killing me. I like her, but she was killing me, boy. I was like, yo, this lady is. You know what? And I'm gonna mean this in a nice way or a good way. Suzanne is a lot. That's a lot of energy that you have to as a guy, when I say this, don't take this the wrong way. That's a lot of energy you have to manage. Because yeah, just I'm here. Look at me. She, I like her though. But
Dag Trey, let us never meet in public. Let us never meet
we should be.
because
We're gonna have a good time. What you talking about?
I'm very much like Suzanne. If you
Yes,
get me in a good football setting like Suzanne,
yes. Let's go.
oh heck yeah, trash talking and everything.
I want
But
to hang out with Suzanne.
I
I
have
wanted to hang out with Suzanne. I was like, yeah, I like Suzanne. I'm an Alabama
I
fan.
have let's welcome another panelist here. Natasha, how are you?
I'm
Can
doing
you hear us?
well. How are you all doing?
Hello,
I'm
Natasha.
doing
Hello, hello.
well. We
Uh,
can hear you.
awesome, awesome.
We're we're talking about Suzanne.
Yes, I like Suzanne. She was a little feisty, I would say, for her age. But I feel like she's, kind of youthful, even though she's older. I liked her. I felt like she was really open to the process, and she had a lot of guys vying after her, I will say.
It's the personality.
She
Her personality
Yes.
she's
would pull
real.
you in.
She's a real bougie Southern belle to go to Africa.
Yes.
Said
Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
so. We were saying, and Suzanne does choose, and Avery has a 14-year-old, even though he's 60 something years old. Um, she does choose to continue to date Avery, and 2 months later, they were still dating. I think they have a great companionship, friendship, and I agree with Suzanne. It was going a little too fast, but he was the right personality for her.
Yes,
What were
Yes.
y'all
it
thoughts? Let
was.
me know, Natasha.
Yes, I agree. I like the other two men, but I think the lawyer, I think the first guy she went out with was maybe a little bit, not compatible with her as far as personality. And I like the other guy, but I think he's was a little bit maybe too soft spoken. She needed somebody kind of to match her energy, and I think Avery was a good balance for her. So yeah.
I don't think we understand how much the rivalry between Georgia and Alabama is. So for the two of them to get together was definitely jumping over hurdles. Your thoughts, Trey?
I ain't gonna lie. Even as an Alabama fan, I thought she was tripping about him being an Alabama fan. She's a Georgia fan, and I'm be honest with you, it's only Georgia fans that do this. You don't find that on the Alabama side. We don't mind if we vote for another team. Our team is solid, but it's something about them Georgia Bulldog fans. I don't get it. I talked to a couple of girls. Yeah, Georgia. Listen, I'm like, first of all, relax, okay? It's just a game. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna beat you anyway. It's all good.
But if it's just a game, why don't you relax?
I was relaxed. She wasn't relaxed. She goes, "Why are you an Alabama fan?" Because I am. I don't understand. What you mean? I've been an Alabama fan since I was 6 years old. What you talking about? Oh, this is Alabama. This. I'm like, whatever. Mm-hmm. Nah, can we watch this game? How about go ahead and
I
cheer
will
for your team?
I will commend you for still being an Alabama fan.
I'm gonna stay one. It's okay. We ain't looking crazy. You ain't been great last few years, but hey, times change. It's what happens. It's what happens. It's our
So
time.
as we said, Avery and Suzanne are still together. And though I did talk about them, we will talk about another one. Um, Anise. Anise is actually still together with the gentleman she was paired with. And let's remember, Anise is 62, married 3 times, 3 kids, her daughter, 2 boys. She's been single for almost 20 years, and her daughter is helping her through the journey. And as the chat has said before, Anise is and her daughter remind them of the Braxton family. So, I have already talked about Anise earlier. So, what are your thoughts about Anise and her journey, Natasha?
I really enjoyed watching Anise. I also thought she was, for her age, she was really vibrant, very active. She loved outdoors. She liked to be in shape. So again, I felt like she needed somebody to match her energy. I love the guy that she was paired with because they seemed like they clicked like immediately, apart from the attraction phase of it. And I know, they probably, need to date some more to get to know to know each other. But I liked her a lot. I felt sorry for her because, and I can kind of relate to her a little bit when she said, sometimes she has to dumb down herself and her accomplishments, with guys because, they can be intimidated by that. But my thing of it is, a lot of times you just got to break out of that, and the person that's for you is going to commend you on that. And I love when she went out with Nate because Nate, his reaction towards that, I felt was like really genuine. He was like, you go, girl, so she needs somebody that's not going to be intimidated by her accomplishments. But I really enjoyed watching her, and I thought the guy that she was matched with was very nice looking. So I was hoping that he was nice. Sometimes, the outside, the outward look, you can kind of make assumptions and say, oh, he's a player or whatever. But no, he actually seemed really genuine. And then when she met his mom, I really love that as well.
I was more concerned about him and those 5 kids that he has. I
Oh
needed to
yeah.
know more.
Yes,
That's
yes.
where I was like, y'all getting fooled by the full beard and the deep voice and the
Right.
physique and the hat. And I was like, where are those 5 kids?
Kids. I forgot about that. Yep.
I was like, why is he still single in these streets looking as good as he does? So Trey, let us know from a man's point of view. This man is fine. Fine. Got 5 kids.
I
What's
hate to be
going
the
on?
I hate to be the Debbie Downer, because I like Anise as well, but I did see a part of her still wants to be her daughter's age. Part of her, she wants to, she's still trapped in. I want to be a young girl because her and her daughter. I love her and her daughter's relationship, but they talk more like sisters than that's my mom, especially at this phase in the life. So it's not bad, but it can be concerning. That's all I'm saying about that. But Willie, Big Willie, listen, ah, yeah, this is a prime example. I'm kind of glad they showed this even in this later age on TV. This is a prime example of how this is how people lose brain cells all of a sudden when they see someone they may be physically attracted to. Because all of a sudden, as soon as she saw Big Willie, her doctor's degree went down to the associates real quick, maybe even high school. Because I noticed on all the rest of her dates, she was a lot more critical and even more poignant of the questions that she asked the men that she was dating with. And most of them, she should have asked those questions. It's good questions to ask. Get to know these guys, this and that and third. But as soon as she saw Willie, her mind went scatterbrained. It bothered me that she asked him nothing about himself. Nothing. The whole time I'm like, okay, she like him. I knew she was gonna like him. I'm like, yes, okay, that's good. That's good. You like him. They're good physical. Ask him a question. She just kept smiling at him. Looking to my eyes. He was very basic with his answers, like a player. He came out straight player with his questions. But my eyes, let me read your soul. He gonna tell her daughter, he read my soul. I'm like, really?
In
Oh,
my recap, I was like, he didn't read your soul. You just told him you were an adventurer. You
that's
just
it.
told him,
That's
and
it.
he just listened. But here's the thing: with I have with Big Willie, you got the woman's middle name on the first date, and you messing it up.
Right. I
You are
hated that.
dropping the bag.
I hated that. I was like, who is Patricia? Because
Well,
somebody name is Patricia that's in the forefront of your brain.
he
That's
could call him
and he
Patrice.
kept saying it. He Patrice or Patricia, I forgot what her middle name is, but yeah, he dropped the ball on that. I hated that.
It's like you got the middle name. You got further on this date than any other gentleman before. Yet you are dropping the bag. So what to go to Africa did remind me that there was an interview and Big Willie is back on the market, ladies.
You
Okay? Big
surprised?
Willie is back
Oh
on the market.
wow.
You surprised?
So if you wish to, she said they're just friends. And I
Oh.
have a request. Y'all talk about Anise and her journey. Let me see if I could go grab a picture of Big Willie for folks to see.
You better not grab the one his shirt off and everything out
Right,
there.
grab that one.
Nah, we don't need all that. Oh my
Grab
God.
that one,
We
please.
don't need all that. Oh Lord have
We need some
mercy.
good eye candy this Sunday morning.
Oh my goodness. I knew it was coming.
Bring it on.
Lord have mercy. Looking like her mom. It's a little sad. I was disappointed. I really was disappointed in Anise when that happened. I was like, talk to this man. Find out what's going on with him. You have questions to ask. Didn't
Right,
ask a thing.
right.
And then you said that they was on the phone for like 2 hours, like they were just talking. What was y'all talking about? What is y'all talking? You just smiling at each other, saying little cute stuff. What was y'all talking about? I don't know. It was just like, oh, niece, how you turn your brain off because he looked good?
I did not get the shirt off because we won't see his face. Okay? I needed y'all to see the face with the whole beard, the hat effect. This was Big Willie on the first date with Anise.
Okay.
Okay? That is Big Willie. And Big Willie got the middle name, as I said, but he still got the 5 kids.
Right.
So they are friends. And he is back on the Atlanta marketplace. Okay, ladies? Hey, ladies. But Anise is his friend. Okay?
Listen, he came through and made them cheeks hurt.
He sure did.
And made them cheeks hurt like she wanted and kept it moving. That's exactly what happened.
They went on a nature walk as a date. And I was like, how many ladies have you taken on this nature walk, Willie? Because you know exactly where to stop. So where she can exactly sit and be at the right height for you to lock them lips. Okay? Willie did a lot of things that I was concerned about.
In his defense, he said he walks there all the time. So, hey, he should know where to stop at. And, he walked there all the time. Now, is he taking dates there? I don't know. Who knows? That could be true. It could be. But, he definitely he had it all set up.
Yeah, he sure did. Because I was not expecting when he said she said we're going on an active date. I'm like, oh, okay, they may, something active, not a walk. That's no, no. I
Well,
was turned off on that.
it wasn't a simple walk. They were going. It was down a nice little trail, up a trail, down through some woods. It was a nice trail.
Really?
Yeah, it was a nice trail. It ain't gonna be no simple walk.
She said he shivered her timbers. Let's not
forget.
That
was funny. And she didn't know what. A part of me, I'm like, was Anise? She doesn't act like it, but sometimes she come off like she was sheltered or something.
Naive a little bit.
Yeah, just a little naive.
She did say she grew up in, I believe she said Arkansas on the farm. She grew up segregated time. Yep. So even her date with the gentleman, the Caucasian gentleman who's European, she was not, I feel, 100% comfortable.
That, and for some reason, that was weird, because she did say she's dated white men in the past before. Her and her daughter talked about that.
Flirted with.
No, she said she went out on dates with some.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she said she went out on some dates with some white men before, but nothing ever came about it. But it was funny when we went on that date with what was that Caucasian dude name? Do you know offhand what was his name? Whatever his name
I'm
was.
gonna find it. Okay.
When she was on a date with him, for some reason I found it strange. Everything was going okay until he said he only dated black women. All of his kids was biracial and this, that, and third. That's just what he's used to. And all of a sudden, that's when it seems like she got turned off. And I didn't understand that.
His name was Bill, 55. He was
Bill.
divorced twice. He's been single for 2 years, 2 kids, and he is the tech startup CEO. Now, it's the only single for 2 years
Maybe.
that I was like, Bill, what are we doing? But he said there was no chemistry there for him.
Right.
And I think he also, and this is a line from a movie, this is by no means because her first date was said the same thing. I don't think he wanted to be her ghetto tour guide. He did not want to help her. This, she said, this is her first time. So that's why I guess I was like, she said she dated
Yeah,
Caucasian
she said
before,
that. She told her
but she's
daughter
like,
that.
right. And it's like, but she said she flirted. And when they asked her out, when she talked to her daughter, she's like, oh no, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, she was telling her daughter about the story of the first guy she had a crush on that was a white boy when it was young in 8th grade. And she was telling her that story or whatnot about a white boy she had a little crush on until he tried to kiss her back or something like that, whatever. And she's like, oh no, you don't do that. You don't do that. Because it was segregated back then.
But here's the thing. Don't wait like Bill till 55 to go on a caviar date, people. Don't wait till 55. Because when Bill said this is the first time he's had caviar and so forth, I kind of rock back and look at Bill. Where are we going, Bill?
Right.
Where are we going? Where are we dating?
Bill's in the hood. Let's just keep it real.
Right.
Jay Blake says, yeah, them cheap dates. Okay?
Bill's in the
Them
hood.
cheap-
Listen, he picks his ladies up when he picks his ladies up.
That's too
He's
funny.
not that. I'm gonna use this word. He's not that pretentious. Like, ain't you eating no caviar?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Take me to the chicken joint on the corner. You know what I'm saying? Let me get something. Give me a chicken box. That's what he want. That's what he want.
But George, 60, was
The black
Anissa's
guy.
first date.
Yo,
And
God.
he divorced twice, 7 years
God.
single, has one kid. He's the one that was talking about ghetto. And I know you got a little ghetto in you.
Oh my
And
God.
I know you got the blonde wig to be ghetto.
Oh my
He turned me off
George,
immediately. Whew, gosh.
George showed us that you can get older and not wiser.
Right.
Oh my God. That was embarrassing. That was embarrassing. I was like, bro, what? Like, seriously?
But I truly believe that wasn't TV. I truly believe that's how he is.
Yeah.
That's really how he is.
He was telling on himself. He was really telling on himself. I was like, yo. I was glad when she said I had to get up and go for a second. I thought she was just about to dip.
Me too.
I thought so too.
But she left her purse and I was like, oh no, she just going to the bathroom.
I thought she was about to dip. But she came back. I was like, she probably, I think she used that time to call the Uber.
She did. Mm-hmm.
She called the Uber because she sat back down for a few minutes. It's like, oh, where my ride's here? And it was out.
Or tell the producers to call her Uber because he was very rude. He was talking about a second date. And I was like, George has not been doing any interviews, which is a good thing because it was not giving at all for her first date. I was very disappointed. But in her journey, she dated George, she dated Nate, she dated Bill, and then she got to Mr. Willie.
I knew that date with Will wasn't going. Not Will with Nate wasn't going to work. Unfortunately, the moment I saw him together, I knew that wasn't going to work. I was like, he's too inactive for her activeness.
Yes, I thought the same thing. Yeah, she needed somebody active.
Personality wise, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's way too inactive, and it wasn't from the lack of wanting to be inactive. Like he literally can't do some
Uh-huh.
of that stuff. He can't do it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I
Speaking
can't
of
do it.
speaking of personality, and we're gonna move on to the next one. Pam.
Oh Lord.
Pam 70, married twice, single now for 15 years, was a flight attendant. Pam is, my spirit animal to just say whatever she wants to say, whatever, whenever. To heck with what you think about it. Pam had an interesting journey too. She did end up remaining single, but she did get a job with her last date.
Pam, Pam, Pam just, Pam just didn't know when to shut up. Just stop talking, Pam. Just stop talking and listen. And she was so hyper, so like she once she calms down, I think Pam is actually a cool person to probably talk to and get to know this and that and third. But she got to talk. You know what the problem with Pam? I tell you what the problem with Pam, especially when they showed the older photos of Pam. Pam was, let's keep it real. Pam was a beautiful woman when she was very young. Beautiful woman. She was bad. She was the old school baddie. Let's just keep it real. She was an old school baddie. And when I saw that, I went, she never actually truly had to do much when it came to getting men's attention. She didn't really have to do nothing at all. So when I saw that, I was like, now for the first time in her life, she's in a position where she has to actually talk to people, deal with people, and actually put forth in a conversation when dealing with men in this later stage in her life. And she's not used to that. Hell, she was just not used to it at all. You know, first date was definitely a crash and burn. She was just over talking that dude. Just the second and all over the place with it too. Just like, bam, relax. The second date went better, but I think she did a little too much when she stole that kiss from, from the guy that he was not expecting. He was like, "Oh, okay, oh, this is a lot." All right, and that third date, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I can sense that it probably wasn't gonna go nowhere, but I thought it was kind of strange. Like you're supposed to be on a date. Well, why are you out here trying to get a job and interview for a job? What are you doing? I'm glad it worked out for you because it seemed like, hey, yeah, you just do this, but it was just kind of strange.
Natasha, your thoughts on Pam?
Yeah, I agree with everything he said. I mean, I did feel like she was open to learning because I felt the lady that was helping them. She said, she talked about the past a lot, and after that first date, I felt, she had to kind of reel her back, but she was open, to learning. The older you get, the more stuck in your ways, and you having a young person like that trying to tell you how to date. Some people can take it a different way, but I felt like she was still open, to learning more about herself and dating. But yeah, I was kind of weirded out by that last date. I'm like, okay, so y'all are just friends, but you just wanted a job. I didn't get that either. But yeah, she was an interesting participant on there. I did feel like she looked good, and I think I mentioned that yesterday. She looked good for her age, at 70 years old. Very good for her age, and active. She seemed really active and stuff. So I like that about her. Yeah, she needs somebody again that's kind of gonna maybe reel her back a little bit, because yeah, if she's more calm, her granddaughter, she interacted with a lot. She seemed to kind of calm her down, but she needs somebody to kind of reel her back a little bit And I think she, again, like he said, she would really be somebody interested in to talk to and get to know.
So the last person, Natasha, we already spoke about, but I want to give you an opportunity to talk about Lori.
Oh my gosh. I have so much to say about her. I really, really, really wanted to like really, really like her, but I think she just has a lot going on. I think her job kind of like overshadowed everything. Like, I kept saying to the TV, you're not your job. Like you're trying to, find a companion, a partner. Your partner doesn't need to know your the personality that you have when you're on your job. That's not what that's for. And I don't know. I don't know if she was really open to like really, understanding that. Um but yeah, I felt like the last guy, I think that was from her church. I think he was a nice guy. I just felt like she just made excuses not to get to know guys. Of course you may not click with them, but at least get to know them. Like don't, shoot them down over little things, because people can shoot you down over small little things. Like it works both ways. I wanted to like her, but and then, of course, the guy that she really liked, Felton, I said it from the get go. I said, it's always like that. When you like a guy more than he probably is not even really thinking about you, he don't want you. And he did not want her. That she read that whole situation wrong. Yeah, so yeah, I really wanted to like her, but it was something about her that I didn't like at all.
So to help us wrap this up, do you guys want a season two?
I do. I would love a season two.
Yeah, I thought it was very interesting. I laugh. I never laughed so much at a dating show. I was like, yo, this is hilarious. But at first, I wasn't struggling with it. I had a struggle trying to figure out what was the end game of this show. Are we looking to date to get in a relationship by the end of this? What's going on? And
Right.
it
Yeah.
wasn't until Nate. It wasn't until Nate actually explained it when he was talking about Lisa that, hey, yeah, we did going through this process. We did it around. I don't want to, I don't want to say yes to you right now. I want to finish through the process. And if we double back by the end of this, maybe we can, talk and get together. Which I think he did, but she was already moved on into a different relationship. So yeah, I would love a season two. It was quite interesting. But I gotta say something. I heard Natasha say something like, ladies, it's okay to like a guy first. It's okay. All right. There's nothing wrong with, cause the way. Sorry, Natasha, if I'm incorrect. The way you was coming off, it sounded like you were saying you should never like a guy more than he likes you.
Yeah, I kind of was saying that. I kind of was saying
Ladies,
that. Yeah.
ladies, don't hurt yourselves out here. It's okay to like a guy a little more sometimes. It's nothing wrong with it. The only issue that popped up in this particular situation, it was evident from Jump Street that he was not feeling her the way that she was feeling him. It's a difference if he actually shows interest in you and say, "Hey, I like you too."
Yeah.
That means there's some reciprocity going on here.
Sure.
But there's a fine line between parched and thirsty. Okay.
True. Hmm.
I ain't say be thirsty. I ain't say that. You better carry you a bottle of water or something. I ain't say do all that. All right, no. All I'm saying is it's okay to like him a little more. Like it's nothing wrong with it. What happens is when y'all finally let each other know that y'all in like with one another, how that goes. this particular situation, it was just bad off rip because even but the viewers watching it could see that Filter ain't really feeling you like that. He don't
No,
even see you like that.
no, no.
This is in your head.
He's been seeing her at all these events. You've been seeing her.
And treated her respect as a friend. That's it. It'd been one thing if he was like, hey, I got a friend Filter. He's been hanging around. He's always calling you, getting to know you. I mean, prime example, when she said she told Filter about his birthday, he was all non-committal. I'm like,
Yeah.
baby. Now he might be busy. Don't get me wrong. What you say he was, he could be generally busy doing that week or doing that
He
weekend.
being flued out. I'm sorry. He being flued out and have
Yes,
engagements.
yes, he
You know
has.
what I'm
He had
saying?
an agenda. He had an agenda for sure. Meeting
No.
her and DMing her.
Yeah. You know what that was? Because he knew she was doing that show was on TV. He's like, nah, he might have me
Exactly.
look crazy and look bad here. Let me make up
Exactly.
this little date and then set things correctly. Jay Blake, calm down. Listen to me. It's okay. It's okay. Because you know what? We should get into this. This is another problem. Y'all don't see the problem when you actually get a man that likes you more than you like him.
Mm,
A lot of women don't see where that can lend up to.
mm,
You know, and that could
Well,
be bad as well.
let,
mm.
let me let me pause you for a moment so I can show people Felton. This was Felton at
Yo,
on the date
yo.
with Lori. This is Lori.
Mm-mm.
This was Felton on the date. Okay.
Oh my God.
Felton was not feeling her. I don't know how she didn't see that. Oh, Lord.
Felton
Girl,
wasn't feeling it, looking for it. He
no.
even wore the white t-shirt as a repellent, and she still was okay with it.
Get mad at old boy that was obviously in love with her feet. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? But you want to give football a chance, but you want to go
Yes.
with lime green jacket?
Yes. And then
Nah,
said something
come
about
on.
his shirt. I'm like,
Well,
girl, because he had a shirt under his shirt. What? You girl, you making excuses. Mm-mm.
I mean, it is kind of old because when I grew up, that's what I was taught by my older uncles. You wear a white shirt up
Right.
under your dress shirt. I don't do that no more.
He
The
could
only
have
thing,
issues with his sweat glands. Girl, you don't know why he wearing a white t-shirt underneath his shirt. Like what? Mm-mm, I
it
didn't get no,
was,
I didn't like her.
but
it
I
was.
She was
guess I
special.
guess Trey has given us a title for another live about liking a gentleman more,
Oh yeah, because
or
I'm
showing
loving
him.
the comments. I'm loving the
Yes.
comments.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So we will schedule another live about it's okay, ladies, to show
it's all they fear
that you are
talking.
certainly more interested
It's all they fear
than
talking. It's
he's
all
showing
fear.
you.
It's all fear talking. That's it.
It's fair.
Though I think Trey wants us to get a good dose of the rejection that males usually get.
No, I don't
Right.
want you to
But
get
I will,
rejection. I don't want you to get. See, I can teach y'all about rejection because we do deal with it a lot more than y'all probably ever will.
I bet y'all do. I
You
agree.
know,
Y'all probably do.
yes. And you try to be funny. Okay, yeah, I bet y'all in.
No,
Nah.
I'm really not trying to be funny. I know I'm serious, and y'all probably do.
Yeah,
Trey, she did not say you particular.
I
She
know,
said
Right.
but
y'all.
women. I
Calm
understand
down.
that. I understand
Mr.
that most
Alabama
women are
fan,
not
calm
used to
down.
it. I understand that most women are not used to it. Okay, they don't know how to deal with it. I understand that. I didn't say. See, that's why we're using Miss Lawyer as an example. There's a clear line where you're liking the guy and you're being delusional in your head that he likes you back.
Right.
Versus you liking the guy, you can tell that he kind of likes you too, but you might be feeling him a little more, but he doesn't know that because you're a lady. So you being a little standoffish. You're not acknowledging that. Hey, I like you too. You just kind of waiting on him try to at least have the courage to come over and say hello or say something or even push the boundaries with you. And most men, especially nowadays, yeah, they're tired of the rejection. No, I'm not doing that. I gotta
So
know you at
that
least
will
like me.
be that will definitely be another live about I guess we're gonna get into relationship talks about dating in these streets because the seniors are out
Yes.
back in these dating streets.
Lord
Yes.
So
have mercy.
we,
They
I
out here.
guess, all got to learn. So we
Yes.
will, of course, schedule another live to talk about something like this. If it's not a show, it'll definitely be about, hey, ladies, it's okay to approach. He may or may not bite. I want to thank Trey. I want to thank Natasha. And I want to thank all of you who were here joining us to talk about the later daters. I do have recaps and reviews on my channel. And I want to do like a live after a season is complete. But as we see now, we are going to do another live. I will certainly schedule that one in advance and hope I can certainly have Natasha and Trey join me again to talk about, hey, approach or not to approach. But please hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we will see you on the next one. Okay? Thanks, guys.
Thank you.